Our learning target today is 5.3. The title is called Percent of Change. And I'd like you to start by copying down this formula here. It uses part of our old formula. The percent over 100 is not going to change because we're still doing percent. So that's going to stay the same. Because things are going to be changing from something old to something new, like a price or things like that, we need to compare the old and the new. And when you compare, we're going to be subtracting in the middle. So we're going to take the original price, which happened first, minus the new price. And then on the bottom, we want to make sure we keep the original price because it happened first. So that number will always go on the bottom, and that equals percent over 100. The other thing we're going to ask ourselves on these questions is, did your price from old to new increase or did it decrease? Okay, so the first example is something you're going to see in your math textbook. They're going to give you two numbers. So for example, they say the number changed from 17 to 23, and you need to figure out the percent of change, and we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So in order to solve this, we're going to use our proportion of above, and I'm going to go ahead and copy the percent over 100. We're going to find the percent, so I'm going to put an X over 100, and then we're going to work on the other side. So we're going to start off by subtracting these two numbers, the original from the new price. And when I write 17 minus 23, I know that's going to be a negative number, and percents of change are not negative. So I'm just going to change the order there and put the bigger number minus the smaller number so that I don't get any negative numbers. On the bottom, we have to put the original, or whatever one happened or came first. So in this question, 17 is first. It happened first. 17 is going to go on the bottom. Now to solve this, I have to take 23 minus 17. And I'm just going to cross through that. And the answer to that is 6. So that gives me a proportion that looks like this. Just cleaned up a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use proportions to solve this. So I'm going to cross multiply. 6 times 100 is 600. And that is equal to cross multiplying 17 times x, which is 17x. Now we're going to solve this one-step equation by subtracting 17 from both sides. And then we're going to go ahead and use a calculator for all of these. So I'm going to type in 600 divided by 17 on my calculator. And I got a very, very long decimal. I'm only going to write part of it. Depending on if you're using a calculator or a cell phone or a calculator on your computer, the end is going to be longer or shorter depending on how many screen digits you're allowed. I'm only concerned about rounding to the nearest tenth today on all of my homework assignment. So my tenths position would be my 2. And I'm looking at my 9, and 9 says round it up. So instead of 35.2, my answer is going to be 35.3. Remember, this is over a percent, so I have to put percent at the end of that number. And then finally, I have to ask myself, did this price go up or this number go up from the original or down? So back to my original, 17, and it went to 23. So from 17 to 23 is an increase. So I'm going to write increase. So this was a 35.3% increase. I'm going to do one more example. Now this one I have an original price of $317, and it changed to $180 today. So if I use that formula, I'm going to set it here just for a reminder. Okay. So I'm going to start with the original price, 312 minus 180 over the original. Well, the original is 312 equals x over 100. Now I see I'm going to get a positive number here, so that's okay. I'm going to subtract those two numbers on my calculator. I'm going to go 312 minus 180. And the answer to that is 132. Now I'm going to go ahead and solve my proportion here. So I'm going to take 132 times 100, which is 132, with the two zeros from the 100, equals 312 times x, which is 312x. Now for me to solve that one-step equation, I'm going to divide both sides by 312. And I'm going to type in 13,200 divided by 312. And again, I got a really, really long number. And I'm going to quit there. We're always going to round here to the nearest tenth. So here's my tens place. And 0 says stay the same. So I have 42.3. I'm going to stay the same. I'm going to write 42.3. This is over 100, so I need to put a percent sign. And finally, I need to ask myself on my original to my new, did I go up or down in price? From 312 to 180, I went down. So this is a decrease. So that is how you do percent of change.